Many governments set an arbitrary retirement age, such as 65, but some people are physically worn out or mentally exhausted well before they reach this age. While some people believe the set age is reasonable, others think it should be more flexible, with exemptions for certain workers. In my opinion, a fixed retirement age is actually best for everybody because it is the easiest and fairest arrangement. But I think a tribunal could be established to decide whether individual workers deserve to receive a pension at an earlier age. Before the new economy, when most people had a single occupation for life, it would have made a lot of sense to allow some manual laborers or people working in psychologically stressful roles to retire earlier. Today, however, so many people change jobs and shift between industries every few years that it is difficult to make these distinctions. An ideal middle ground would be to have a set retirement age for everybody, but to create a tribunal that could hear individual cases. A 60-year-old who had been a miner for 40 years could get an early pension, for example, whereas someone of the same age who had only spent 8 years mining in his 20s would not. Two types of workers would benefit from early retirement. First are those who work in tough, physically demanding conditions, such as construction workers, coal miners, and welders. The others are workers in high-stress positions, where sound judgment is crucial for public safety. Emergency medical practitioners and air traffic control operators are two such examples. With people's working lives differing on an individual basis, it is difficult to classify them into large groups and distribute pensions accordingly. Nevertheless, many individuals still deserve an early pension, and in some cases, our well-being may depend on giving it to them. Dear Sir or Madam, I am writing to report the loss of a valuable personal item on one of your trains. The item is a small black leather wallet with the brand name Urban Limit embossed on the front. Inside was a library card, a credit card, a swipe card for the gym, a student ID card, and my driver's license, all in my name. There was also a little cash, about $25 in all. I must have lost the wallet between 4:15 p.m. and 4:30 p.m. while traveling southbound on the Wyndham Line on Friday afternoon, 15th May. If I recall correctly, I was in the second carriage sitting near the front. Could you please let me know if a wallet of this description has been found? My phone number is 099-304-2442. If you have it, please keep it in a safe place and I will make arrangements to collect it at your earliest convenience. Thank you. Yours faithfully, Joe Black. Dear Sir or Madam, I am writing to report that I lost my iPad while traveling on one of your trains. The device is a silver iPad with a light blue cover. I believe I left it on the Expo line on 24th October at around 5 p.m. while heading toward Waterfront Station. I was seated near the rear of the third carriage. If the item has been found, I would greatly appreciate it if your staff could contact me at 777-666-5555. Please keep it in a safe place, and I will arrange to collect it at your earliest convenience. I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you, Amy. Teaching finance. Today's schools should teach their students how to survive financially in the world today. To what extent do you agree or disagree with this statement? Give reasons for your answer and include any relevant examples from your knowledge or experience. It is widely believed that schools today should educate students on how to survive financially in the modern world. I strongly agree with this view, as financial literacy is essential for personal well-being and long-term success in adult life. Some argue that teaching personal financials should be the responsibility of parents, not schools. They believe that families are better equipped to pass on financial habits because each household faces different economic circumstances. For example, the financial knowledge needed by a wealthy child may differ from that required by a child from a low-income background. Since schools cannot tailor individual financial education for every student, some believe families should take the lead. However, I believe this expectation is unrealistic. Not all parents have the financial knowledge or skills themselves, and leaving this responsibility solely to families may worsen the gap between the rich and the poor. If financial understanding is passed only through families, those from financially uneducated backgrounds may never learn how to manage their money properly. As a result, poverty may persist across generations, making upward social mobility more difficult. Speaking from personal experience, I graduated from a prestigious university but still struggle with financial matters. No one warned us in school about the financial challenges we would face after graduation. Financial health plays a crucial role in determining major life decisions, such as whether to pursue a PhD, start a family, or launch a business. These choices are often limited by one's financial situation. Unfortunately, many adults I know, including myself, lack basic financial knowledge. For instance, I do not fully understand terms like GIC, GST, HST, and many of my friends do not know how to file taxes correctly or invest in the stock market. This lack of knowledge often leads to stress and poor financial decisions. In conclusion, although families play a role in shaping financial habits, schools should take a more active part in teaching financial survival skills. In a world where money affects almost every aspect of life, equipping students with financial literacy is not optional. It is essential. Some people believe that teaching children at home is best for their development, while others think that it is important for children to go to school. Discuss the advantages of both methods and give your own opinion. In today's world, there is an ongoing debate about whether homeschooling or traditional schooling is better for a child's development. While both approaches have their advantages, I believe that attending school plays a more important role, especially in helping children develop their social and emotional skills. One key benefit of homeschooling is that it allows for a personalized learning experience. Parents can tailor the pace and content of lessons to suit their child's individual needs. For example, if a child finds a certain topic easy, they can move on quickly, while spending more time on subjects they find difficult. In contrast, schools often follow a fixed curriculum that may not suit every student. Some may feel bored, while others struggle to keep up. With enough resources and parental support, homeschooling can help students learn more efficiently and at their own pace. On the other hand, schools provide an environment where children can develop essential social skills. Interacting with peers helps children learn how to communicate, cooperate, and build friendships. These experiences are an important part of growing up and cannot be easily replicated in a home environment. Personally, I have met many people who still talk fondly about their childhood friends from school and the memories they shared. In school, children also learn how to deal with different personalities and situations, which prepares them for the real world. In conclusion, while homeschooling offers flexibility and a customized learning path, I believe that going to school is more beneficial for a child's overall development. It not only provides academic knowledge, but also valuable life experiences that help children grow into well-rounded individuals. You have a problem with a neighbor. Write a letter to your neighbor. In your letter, describe the problem. Say how long it has been a problem. Explain what action you want the neighbor to take. Dear Mr. Jackson, I am writing to you to see what can be done about the large tree at the front of your house. The tree leans over my side of the fence, which divides our properties. It is not just a nuisance, but also a danger. It drops a large amount of debris on my roof, and these leaves and twigs block the downpipes. During the last heavy rainfall, my house leaked as a result. My worst fear is that in a storm the tree might fall down, damaging my house and possibly injuring my family. The tree has been a problem for over 10 years, and I have talked to you about it before, but the tree has now reached such a height that I urge you to take action immediately. I think you should have the tree removed. An alternative course of action would be to prune the tree to fence level, but I think it would die anyway if you did this. I hope the problem can be resolved soon. Yours sincerely, Joel Baker. Write about the following topic. It is generally accepted that exercise is good for children and teenagers. Therefore, physical education and sport should be compulsory for all students in all schools. What do you think? Give reasons for your answer and include any relevant examples from your own knowledge or experience. Exercise is important throughout life for all age groups in order to maintain both physical health and mental well-being. Making sports instruction and physical education mandatory for all able-bodied school students is a good idea because it establishes beneficial exercise habits and enhances other aspects of their lives. Sport is a great source of lessons for life. It teaches us to take nothing for granted and to treat others with respect. The smug individual or overconfident team is always vulnerable and may be beaten by an opponent with less obvious skill but more tenacity and determination. Sport teaches us how to behave or how not to behave in defeat. Maintaining composure in the face of disappointment is a life skill well worth mastering, as is the ability to recover quickly after setbacks. Sport teaches us concentration, discipline, and a good work ethic, essential for academic achievement as well. It is only by training hard, staying focused, and exercising self-control that we attain success. We learn a lot about competition, but sport teaches us restraint, too. We need to keep a cool head in the midst of intense pressure to have a chance of winning. To be calm and composed under pressure is an enormous advantage at exam time. Team sports also teach us how to work as a team. Being a team player is rated very highly by employers, and knowing how to interact and cooperate with others prepares us not only for the workplace, but for the rest of our social lives. To conclude, sport definitely has a place in the school curriculum, because students will become fit and active, improve their attitude to study, and learn many important life skills. For these reasons, all students who are physically able should be required to participate in physical education in addition to their academic subjects. You work for a small company. You need to arrange for some time off work. Write a letter to your employer. In your letter, explain why you want to take time off work. Give details of how long you will be away. Suggest how you will make up for the lost time. I am writing to ask whether I might take some leave in June this year. My son is getting married, and I would very much like to attend the wedding. Unfortunately, he lives overseas, and I will have to travel a long way to get there. For this reason, I am asking to take 1 week's leave, 5 working days, from Wednesday, June 7th to Tuesday, 13th June inclusive. The marriage ceremony will take place on Saturday, 10th June, but I will need at least 2 days either side of that date for the journey. I also want to make sure that I have a little time to spare in case of delayed flights or other unforeseen events that might occur. When I return, I will be quite happy to make up for the lost time by working overtime in the evenings or on weekends. I have excellent office facilities in my home, so I could catch up on the work by telecommuting. Or, if you prefer, I am willing to come into the company office after hours. Thank you for your consideration of this matter. Kind regards, Write about the following topic. Nowadays, many schools find it profitable to sell unhealthy food and sugary drinks to students during lunch breaks. Is this a positive or negative development? Give reasons for your answer and include any relevant examples from your own knowledge or experience. Many public schools find that they are inadequately funded by government and must resort to other ways of raising money. Selling food provides a source of revenue as well as a service to students, but, in my view, the sale of junk food and soft drinks or energy drinks is a worrying development. Some people would argue that it is merely a matter of choice. They believe students can make an informed decision about whether to eat and drink products loaded with calories and excess sugar, and that, indeed, there are times when students might need an extra energy boost or feel they deserve a sweet treat. Others feel that school students do not yet have the maturity to curb the impulse to buy unhealthy food and may be subject to peer pressure to do so. There are already too many opportunities for youngsters to purchase this kind of food elsewhere, so putting temptation in their way by selling it at school is unacceptable. Those who do not support sales of sugary snacks and beverages say that consumption of these items has adverse long-term effects, diabetes and dental decay, for example, and also immediate effects on the learning environment. Children are often hyperactive and overexcited after consuming excessive amounts of sugar, making it difficult for them to concentrate on their studies. A local school in my area removed these items from the shop and found an immediate improvement in student concentration and behavior. Although it may be less profitable, surely schools could be persuaded to sell more fruit and nourishing snacks in the interests of a healthier population. It is their role to educate young people about the benefits of a wholesome and balanced diet, not to endorse the consumption of unhealthy, calorie-rich, low-nutrition food and drinks. Your friend recently came to your birthday party and bought you an expensive present. Write a letter to your friend. In your letter, thank your friend, explain how useful the present is, arrange to meet up with your friend sometime soon. Dear Amy, thanks so much for coming to my birthday party last week. I was so pleased that you could make it at such short notice. You seem to have a good time mixing and mingling with my extended family and friends, so I hope you enjoyed yourself. I really must thank you very much for the amazing present. It's a bit of a challenge learning how to use it, but it's fun. I had always thought my cheap old mobile phone was good enough, but now I really appreciate having a new smartphone. It can do so much apart from just talking and texting. Emails, good quality photos, and also GPS capability. But what's really helpful is that I can even use it as a mobile hotspot. I think we should get together next weekend so I can thank you properly in person. I didn't get much of a chance to chat with you at the party, so how about coffee and cake at Starbucks downtown? What about 2 o'clock on Saturday afternoon? Does that suit you? It's my treat. If you have some free time, we could perhaps go shopping together afterwards. Looking forward to catching up with you on Saturday. Lots of love. You are having problems with a neighbor's animals because the fence between your properties is old and in poor repair. You want the neighbor to pay half the cost of building a new fence. Write a letter to your neighbor. In your letter, say what the problems are. Explain how a new fence will solve the problems. Suggest that the neighbor pays half of the cost. Dear Harold, I'm sure you know about the problem with the fence between our properties. As you may have noticed, it is getting pretty old, and it doesn't seem to be keeping your animals out of our property anymore. Several times recently, your sheep have come across the boundary and eaten the tops off all the young fruit trees that I planted. Also, last week, my wife was upset because your cows trampled over the vegetable garden and destroyed her new seedlings. She is scared of your big black dog as well. I think the only solution is to construct a new fence. This will not only keep your animals secure, but it will also protect my trees and other plants. If we had a good, strong fence, I am sure you would feel happier about the safety of your stock, and I would feel a lot more comfortable about going away for a few days now and again. I think the only fair outcome is that we share the expense of building a new fence. We could either get quotes from a couple of expert fencers, or just buy the materials and build it ourselves. Please let me know what you would like to do about this problem. Best regards. These days, many people prefer online shopping to conventional shopping. What are the advantages and disadvantages of online shopping? Give reasons for your answer and include any relevant examples from your own knowledge or experience. E-commerce is here to stay, and online shopping is now extremely popular. It brings many advantages to consumers, but there are also some drawbacks worthy of mention. Of the numerous benefits, consumers probably rate convenience as the most important. They can make purchases at any time of the day or night without wasting time and money on transport or finding a parking place. They can shop in their pajamas if they like, browsing websites in a fraction of the time it takes to go through the shops at the mall. Prices are usually better too, because products often come directly from the manufacturer, and comparing prices is much faster and easier on the internet. In addition, there is a greater selection of merchandise, colors, and sizes, and the goods are delivered directly to your door. If you do not like crowds, it is the ideal way to shop. Also, certain purchases, which otherwise might be embarrassing, can be made in private. Overall, it is much less stressful. As for the disadvantages, one important problem is the deceptive nature of some of the pictures on websites. You cannot touch or try out the goods to check for appropriate size or quality. Consequently, customers are sometimes disappointed, and to make matters worse, they have problems returning articles and obtaining a refund. However, the most worrying aspect of online shopping is that not all web portals used for payment are authentic or trustworthy. Finally, some people find that conventional shopping is a wonderful excuse to get out of the house and socialize with friends, and perhaps stop for a snack and a drink in pleasant surroundings. Online shoppers miss this opportunity. In conclusion, both ways of shopping have their benefits and drawbacks. While online shopping is discreet, fast, and convenient, there can be problems with quality and security, and it lacks the sociability of conventional shopping. Write about the following topic. All over the world, the rich are becoming richer and the poor are becoming poorer. What problems does this cause? How can we overcome the problems of poverty? Give reasons for your answer and include any relevant examples from your own knowledge or experience. The latest statistics show that the rich are increasing their wealth while the poor are becoming more numerous and more desperate. This causes manifold problems for individuals and society as a whole, and although the solutions may seem straightforward, they are not easy to implement. An imbalance in the spread of wealth in society results in a crippling cycle of poverty for many residents. The problems are diverse but interrelated. Crime is a major effect of poverty, especially violent crime and property-related crime. Alcohol and substance abuse, although self-destructive, are seen as ways of coping with poverty. Some poor people are forced to take jobs with unsafe or hazardous working conditions. In some cases, Children must work to help support the family. In addition, inferior housing and living conditions for the impoverished are common causes of ill health and disease. Waterborne and food-related diseases are rife amongst the destitute. The effect of poverty on society is destabilizing. It is the chief cause of social tension leading to riots and conflict, occasionally resulting in governments being brought down, as happened in the so-called Arab Spring. Children brought up in poverty develop antisocial and aggressive behavior. There have been high-profile court cases in my country where underprivileged young teenagers have been found guilty of murder because they have killed someone in the course of an armed robbery. The solutions to poverty are simple but challenging. Governments could impose more taxes on the affluent. Unfortunately, it is often the moneyed sector that keeps the government in power, and corrupt officials are amongst the prosperous. There should be absolute transparency in government spending, and governments must give priority to projects to help the poor. Above all, they should have access to education, training and employment programs, a living wage, decent housing, sanitation, and healthcare. Breaking the poverty cycle and redressing the imbalance of wealth and resources with good governance will take time, but it will eventually eliminate some of the problems of crime, violence, sickness, and addiction that plague the underclass.